Hey, this is Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling, with Platinum versus AEW Dynamite from September 16th, 2020. This was a show that Dynamite needed. They needed a show that was put together well, where things were advanced, where things made sense, and a minimum amount of injuries. Now, that main event, which was incredibly spectacular, the parking lot brawl betwixt Santana and Ortiz and the best friends. No doubt they got banged up like crazy on that thing. But boy, I hate to say this phrase, but it's the truth. It was worth it. Boy, did they elevate themselves, and it was tremendous. We got the open for AEW Dynamite, which I like a lot. We're off to the races. Apparently next week's show is going to be beholden on when the NBA playoffs end. So it could be very late indeed. Is what it is. They're just going to have to do the best they can. They certainly did themselves a great deal of favors with tonight's show. We pan the crowd and we pan the wrestlers who are at ringside. And is that Abaddon who is out of makeup? Who the fuck put Abaddon out there to watch out of makeup, but where you could still tell it was Abaddon? Come on. What is gained from that? Nothing. Ugh. Better to have her make herself up like she was a fan of Thunder Rosa or something. Again, most people won't care, but most people are idiots. Why wreck the Abaddon thing unnecessarily? Now, if I'm completely wrong about that, tell me so, but I don't think I am. Match number 1, we get right into a match. Jurassic Express against FTR. The Young Bucks come out before the match starts and super kick the ref. Okay, at least they're going to lean into this madness. And as somebody who watches Being the Elite, I get this. I would suggest a few notes here for commentators to bring up Being the Elite. I think it would help them a lot and further create more connective tissue between Being the Elite, Dynamite, Dark, and all the rest of the things that they do. All right. Well, that referee, who's Mike Posey, is out. We put another referee in. FTR kind of makes little jokes at the Bucks' expense. The Bucks throw some money at Tony Khan. Now, somebody I watched with went, "Oh, I thought it was kind of lame that Tony Khan was there, and it looked so." And I'm like, "No, he looked like a guy who was working." I thought it was a good look that Tony Khan was there near the gorilla at a table with a headset and a T-shirt and working. But, opinions vary, but such as it is. They promote the parking lot brawl. Thunder Rosa is going to defend her NWA Women's title against Ivelisse. Boy, talk about somebody who's gotten themselves in good. Good for Thunder Rosa. Jericho and Hager are going to be taking on Private Party. MJF is going to be in action, and then we're going to have Adam Page against Frankie Kazarian. Interesting. We go backstage. Alex Marvez is there. What's going on? Matt Hardy's knee is hurt. Smart to not have him hit in the head. I think that's smart to do a different wrestling injury. Private Party's there. Jericho and Hager come by and mock Matt Hardy. Son of a bitch. So they managed to put some heat on that match, which is nothing wrong with that. Omega joins the commentators. Kazarian against Hangman Adam Page. By the way, I didn't even go over the freaking match. So Jurassic Express and FTR, very good match. I love the finish in particular, where it was sunset flip. Then FTR gets the advantage thanks to the partner on the outside pushing him into an advantage on the pin and then holding his hand so they could get the pin. Very strong, very good look. Very good establishment of FTR as a strong champion. AEW does this incredibly well. When you win a title, they establish you right away. They gave Brody that great win over Dustin, establishing him as a TNT champion. And of course, Moxley has been well established as their heavyweight champion, and Shida has been established as the women's champion. They do a very good job, whereas WWE, often when you win a title, it's an excuse for you to lose a bunch of matches to create contenders. AEW does it in a more organic fashion, and I think it tends to work better. Kazarian against Hangman Adam Page. A very good match that Hangman wins with the buckshot lariat. Omega having great pains commentating at times, both metaphorically and literally. Sometimes it seemed like she strained a bit, but I get what they were going for. That certainly has worked. AEW does the slow burn pretty well. It's a good match to highlight the fact that Hangman Adam Page can wrestle singles. And Kazarian, of course, as always, consummate pro and interesting in defeat. We promote that parking lot brawl again. Boy, that thing better live up to the hype. It does. We go to MJF, and as he comes to the ring, we go to split screen, and then come back, and it's Shawn Dean. Hey, Shawn Dean on Dynamite, but my celebration is short-lived as MJF pokes him in the eye and takes him down with the Fujiwara armbar and gets him to tap. This is really about MJF's promo. Mox cheated. Maybe I need to join a team too. That's the premise. Very good promo by MJF. We get a Taz technique. Haven't got that for a while, about Ricky Starks, how fast he is, how effective that spear is, and then a thing about the Rochambeau and the two different grips he uses. I love these segments. I'm glad to see them back, even if it's just for this time to put over his own guy. Eddie Kingston comes out with the Lucha Brothers. This is a nice flow, a nice segue, right? They attack three guys. Griff's Garrison beat him up. Blah, blah, blah. Go to commercial. Griff Garrison's one of the guys that they beat up. An interesting segment and just fine, except it gets kind of repeated later, which is not good. 4, Private Party against Jericho and Hager. We go to split screen during this match. Jericho eventually hits the Judas Effect elbow and gets the pin. A good match. Private Party has put together quietly a series of good matches without botches. And they're really digging into that babyface role of being in peril and being vulnerable, and it's good. Jericho and Hager, obviously, since they've announced we're going after the tag titles, they're going to pick up a bunch of wins. It's also an excuse to get Jericho on television, since his segments tend to be the highest rated, whether people like that or not. And it's smart, and they put it in the middle of the show. Ivelisse against Thunder Rosa. They do dark match results during this match. The match is very good, as you would expect from these two. Thunder Rosa wins, which is the right call. Diamante attacks Thunder Rosa along with Ivelisse, and Shida comes to help. Isn't she nice? And Shida has this moment with the NWA Women's title where she looks at it longingly, but then gives it back to Thunder Rosa. Great little thing. I would expect a tag match between these guys, which does, in fact, get announced later. My only critique: Shida coming out in those jorts. Fucking terrible. Awful, 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 awful. It was a bad look. I know I'm making a lot of this, but these things matter. Shida should have come out in something else besides jorts. It just made her look low rent compared to everybody else. These things matter. Miro's back there in a little segment with Kip and Penelope where they're working out. If the point of this promo, I don't even care what this promo was about. If it was, look at Miro, he looks jacked and awesome, success. Commercial. Lance Archer pulls someone out of the audience and beats them up. Fuck. Adult in the room stuff, guys. Doing the same spot is useless. At this point, do we need to see Lance Archer beat up anybody? I would say no. When you're going to be main event, you get to shed aspects of your gimmick in favor of just being the thing that the gimmick helped create. We get Lance Archer as a monster. Jake promo, it is not good. We haven't had a good Jake Roberts promo in quite some time. Just being honest here. I love Jake Roberts, but this was not a good promo. The very confusing thing of we need allies. None of that made sense. I get that that's what they were going to do, is they're going to have allies, but there was no justification. It was just, we need allies, we need a couple allies. Out comes Brian Cage, Ricky Starks, Taz. We'll be your allies, Lance Archer, okay? But then, when you win the title and beat Mox, we get the first shot. They kind of tentatively agree to the deal. Lance Archer is better on the mic than Jake is here. Moxley comes to talk to them, and they jump him. They jump him right away. Will Hobbs comes for the save, which feels very old school and great that this is his push. He's fired up. He looks great. Great smile. Good look. He's huge. Moxley puts him over. He puts himself over. It's really good. Moxley calls for Darby Allin to help him. We have a match for next week. Really good. Organic. It just feels right. Obviously, they're forcing things into place, but that's what you do. And Will Hobbs getting that pizzy push. Welcome to the rocket on your back. It's nice. Wednesday, October 14th, we put over that Moxley is wrestling Lance Archer for that title on the anniversary show. Cool. Then we get promos for next week. Lance Archer, Cage, Ricky Starks against Darby Allin, Will Hobbs, and Moxley. Wow, nice. We're going to have Brody Lee versus Orange Cassidy. Holy shit, where did that come from? It makes sense, but it's, oh, wow. And Shida and Rosa against Ivelisse and Diamante. And we're going to have Jericho here. Holy balls. And they promote the parking lot brawl again. We get a commercial. And in the midst, we talk about the late night Dynamite that's going to happen next week. It's going to be Wednesday, but it's going to be start when the NBA game ends. We'll see if that helps or hurts. We got a circle of cars for this parking lot fight. What do I say about this parking lot fight? See this shit. I actually texted friends. I never do that about wrestling stuff, but I texted them and you got to watch this thing. It was awesome. Double power bomb through the glass on Trent. Trent is a hero. Trent Beretta is amazing in this match. But all of them did their part. Santana and Ortiz, by the way, that face paint where they look kind of like the Baseball Furies or like something similar, or the Dead Presidents kind of face paint, they may need to think about doing that all the time. Boy, did that make them look even scarier. Just great. The Orange Cassidy in the trunk thing was ludicrous in the best of ways. Superman punch brings him over, hitting that crunchy pile driver. I was afraid of the plywood board because I just went, often they're too flexible and they don't break right, and this is going to be what they use for the ultimate finish. But boy, Trent Beretta made it work. And then Sue picking them up in the van and flicking everybody off. Tremendous. Very good Dynamite. It's the Dynamite they needed. But again, doing the same spots again and again, got wrestlers out of the crowd to beat them up. They did that twice. And creating some connective tissue there would behoove them very much. Beyond that, very good Dynamite. This has been Stephen Platinum, your friend in wrestling.